Hello children, today we are going to start chapter number 9, Forest and Wildlife Resources. In our previous chapter, we had studied about what is resources into detail, what kind of resources are there. Today we are going to study mainly two kind of resources, that is forest resource and wildlife resource of India. This is chapter number 9 and second chapter of our geography part. So without wasting time, let us start. The existence, progress and development of man depends on resources. We have been fulfilling our needs by getting them from nature since early times. So we have got these resources from nature without any cost, without any money from ancient time, and we have been using it, wherein the forests are considered to be very important resource. See, this we know, the forests are considered one of the most important resource of any nation. The better the forest resource, the more developed the nation can be. Now why it is so? Because forest itself is a multiple resource. It can be used into various ways, and at the same time it can be used to get other resources into a lot of usage. A general meaning of forest is accumulation of trees, shrubs and heap of grasses. See, what can be definition of a forest? Someone asks you what is a forest. Then forest is accumulation of trees, shrubs or heap of grass. Accumulation is collection of trees, shrubs and heap of grass. In natural vegetation, only that vegetation is included which can be raised naturally without the help of man. This is called virgin vegetation. See, now this is a definition of virgin vegetation. The vegetation means you have to consider forest, the vegetation which is raised without the help of man. Okay, the forest which are grown without any kind of help from the man is called virgin vegetation. Now such vegetation is in India is available only in Himalaya, Sundarbans and remote areas of Thar Desert. See, now virgin vegetation is only available in Himalaya, Sundarbans and some of the areas of Thar Desert. Classification of the forest. Forest classification is made according to different criteria. This we know. Forest classification is done according to different criteria. You have studied the classification of forest on the basis of climate in standard 9. If you remember, you had a whole chapter on climate, and in that we had divided the forest into 5 zones, right? Like the tropical deciduous forest, the evergreen forest, the desert, the temperate and so on. So we had divided there the forest on the basis of the climate, but right now we are going to study the forest bifurcation on the basis of administration, ownership and management. We are going to study the division on this particular concepts. Types of forest according to administration. Types of forest according to the administration. The first on the base of administration. The first type of forest is reserve forest. Such forests are under the control of government. Remember this. Reserve forests are directly under the control of government. Here there is restriction on lumbering, collection of woods or pasturing. See, here there is restriction on lumbering. Lumbering is cutting down of trees. Second, collection of woods is also not allowed. And third, pasturing means grazing of the animals is also not allowed into such kind of forest. Protected forest. This forest are looked after by the administrator. This type of forest are looked by the administrators. Local people are permitted to collect the wood. The administration of this kind of forest is done by local people and the administration together. Now see, local people are permitted to collect food and to graze their animals without causing any harm to the trees. Okay, so they are allowed to collect wood and also to allow graze their animals, but they should take care that their animals do not harm any of the trees. At the same time, when they are collecting the wood, they should also not harm any of the trees. Third kind of forest are the unclassified forest. Now, as per the name, we can understand that this forests are not classified any under any of these two. Okay, they are neither termed as reserved, they are neither termed as protected, and that's why they are known as unclassified. These forests are still not classified. See, they are not classified. There is no restriction on tree felling or animal grazing. There is no restriction on tree felling and animal grazing, but as why they are unclassified, because they are very dense forest. At the same time, it is very hard to reach this forest and to approach this forest, and that's why they are not classified, right? So reserve forest, protected forest, and unclassified forest come under the administrative category. Now the classification of forest according to ownership, administration, and management. Okay, so according to the ownership, we are going to study about the ownership. The forests of India are classified in three types based on the ownership, administration, and management aspect. The first one is state forest. Okay, now most of the forests in India are considered as state forest. State here means not the state like Gujarat, Maharashtra, and that thing. State here means government. State here means government. Okay, so central and the state government controls forest. So who controls the forest? Central and the state government control such kind of forest. Most of the forest of the country fall under this category. As I told you, most of the forest in India are under the control of the government, and that's why they are termed as state forest. Communal or the community forest. Communal forest. See, who takes care? Then local self-governing institutions like the gram panchayats, municipalities, corporations, district panchayats have control of this forest, and that's why they are known as the community forest or communal forest. See, now these are such kind of forest. They are usually smaller in size. At the same time, who will take care of this kind of forest? Then the local self-governing institutions will take care of this kind of forest. So the local self-governing bodies take care of such kind of forest, and that's why they are known as the community forest. Third is private forest. Now from the name it suggests that these are controlled by the private people. Such a forest is owned by individuals. See, it is usually owned by the individuals. Such forests are found in Odisha, Meghalaya, Punjab, and Himachal Pradesh. So these are some of the areas where usually such kind of forests are found, and these private forests are usually smaller in comparison to the other two. Some of these forests are haphazard condition, and some of them are totally barren. Usually they are considered to be in a bad conditions and totally barren, but there are some of the forests which are owned by the private people, and they are into a great shape and into a great growing bodies. Next topic that we are going to study is deforestation. Now deforestation means the destruction of the forest. See, deforestation means destruction of forest. This is not a problem of our country alone, but it is one of the global problems. See, it is not a problem of our country. It is a global problem. Global problem means problems which are faced by the whole world. It can be said that it is a result of progress of the man. We can say that deforestation or destruction of the forest is due to the progress of man. As man progresses, he needs more and more space, and that's why he's destroying the forest haphazardly. Trees are destroyed naturally, however, it is negligible compared to loss inflicted by human interference. Sometimes there are instances where trees are destroyed naturally, usually by the forest fires or by any storms or by earthquakes, but this such kind of instances are very less. Usually it is destroyed by the negligible. Okay, the instances are very less, and that's why usually it is done by the negligence of the human interference, and human being destroys the forest on a larger scale. Next is impact of deforestation. Okay, what is the impact of deforestation that we are going to see into this topic? The impact of deforestation is widespread. See, it is very widespread. The quantity of carbon dioxide increases into atmosphere. The first is the quantity of carbon dioxide increase. We know The trees gives out oxygen and intakes carbon dioxide, but the lesser number of trees, as we cut down the trees, so the intake of the carbon dioxide will be less, and due to that the pollution will increase. So this creates a lot of impact on the atmosphere. Second, greenhouse effect becomes more intense. Now you know greenhouse effect, okay, that is the heat, increasing of the heat on the globe, and due to deforestation the greenhouse effect is more intense. The heat is growing more and more. You might have felt that in last few years the heat every summer is getting hotter and hotter, okay. With the removed forest cover, the soil erodes and the problem of farm fertility decreases. Say, this also occurs that when we cut down trees, there are chances of soil erosion. We already studied soil erosion in chapter number 8, and due to that, the fertility of the farm also decreases, and this is a great problem for the farmers. In the peninsula India, the forest area have decreased largely due to forestation. See, okay, in Peninsula India, the forest area have decreased largely due to deforestation. Okay, there were big forest into the Peninsula India, but now they have grown smaller. The pocket have grown smaller. Why? Because due to deforestation, many living organisms have lost their abodes. Okay, they have lost their abode. Abodes means houses, living places. So they have lost their places to live. As a result, the wild animal approach urban settlements. Due to this thing, what happens? The wild animal approach urban settlements. They means they come into cities for the search of food and water. Why they come to the cities? So they in the search of food and water. More intense are recorded. Instances are recorded of carnivorous animal killing the domestic animal. Okay, and the shepherd who live near the forest. This can be seen into areas like Gir, where lion is seen hunting the domestic animals now and then. Now why this is happening? Because lion is not getting proper food into its own forest, and that's why they approaches the cities and villages nearby, and this creates a problem for the shepherds who live near the forest. Now we are going to talk about the remedies for the forest conservation. What are the solutions of it? See, research should be carried out to find out the option of the first and the foremost is find option for the wood. Okay, because usually why do we cut forest? For the wood. So if there is an option for the wood, it will be great for us. This will reduce the usage of wood and it will save forest. Whereas the trees are to be cut inevitable, the development work for necessary. Now there are some instances where the trees needs to be cut and it is compulsory necessary, we cannot avoid it. There what we can do is we can plant new trees of the same species. Okay, new trees of the same species, not at that place but at other place also, and that will create a balance on the earth. There should be a total ban on for cutting trees which are not fully grown, say saplings. Okay, those trees which are not grown fully, there should be a total ban on cutting down of such kind of trees. Those industries which receive their raw materials from forest should be compelled to afforestation for further needs. See, sir, there are a lot of industries which get their raw material from forest directly, like paper, rubber, matchsticks, sports goods. These are all kind of industries which directly use the forest products into their as their raw material. So those industries needs to be compelled. Compelled means force should be obliged to afforestation for further needs. Under the name of ecotourism, the forest cover should not be damaged and should be strictly controlled. Okay, so there should be less ecotourism. Widespread public awareness should be organized among the local people. See, there should be awareness among the local people, and such kind of programs should be organized so that people also come and contribute in the development of the forest. The importance of forest and the conservation strategies should be included in the forest of school and colleges. This is a very important point. Okay, the importance of forest and conservation strategies should be included into the syllabus of the school and colleges so that students at young age can understand the importance of forest and they can start conserving them at a very young age. They should explain the necessity of forest cover, okay, and that will help to conserve the forest for the future generation too. Social forestry and agroforestry should be developed intensively by taking planned steps for the necessary fodder and fire. Social forestry and agroforestry should be developed so that forest and fodder and firewood problem can be solved to a larger extent. In place of firewood, alternative options like solar energy and natural gas should be used. See, instead of firewood, we can go for solar energy and natural gas. Forest resources should be used sparingly. We should use forest uses sparingly, means as less as possible. In order to make the process of trees grow faster and healthier, infested trees should be removed. Okay, there are in forest there are such kind of trees which are infected, which are not proper, which are you can say sick or decayed. So such kind of trees should be removed so that the other trees can get proper nutrition and can grow into a healthier more trees. Forest fire causes heavy damage. See, the major damage to any forest is due to the forest fire, and that should be controlled into a large extent. A separate system or a force at national level should be created for dousing the forest. There should be an agency which takes care of such kind of forest fires nationwide. Due to the increased means of transportation and easy travel, thousands of pilgrimages reach religious places in forest area to attend the bandaras, fairs and pilgrim. Now we are a religious centered country, and that's why there are a lot of people, there are a lot of festivals which are celebrated into the forest, okay, like the parikramas which are done in Girnar and so during this time a lot of people go into the forest, a lot of people are there into the forest, and there are all chances that they may litter and pollute the forest. So we should take care that there is no littering done into the forest. And after the completion of the festival, after the completion of the fairs, the administration should take care to clean the forest of all the plastic and all kind of litter that is being done by the people during this kind of festivals, otherwise it will pollute the forest. An area should be demarcated and reserved for the animal pasture. This is very important. Okay, an area should be demarcated that the animals are allowed to graze only to this particular extent, and that will help to protect the forest to a larger extent, because the animal doesn't know and they start grazing into a larger area, destroying those grass, and ultimately those, as there is no grass or clippings on the soil, and that will lead to the soil erosion and damage to the forest. And that's why the area should be demarcated in the reserve of the animal pasture. So we will keep till this here in this particular video. So about we have studied about types of forest, classification of the forest, classification of forest on the ownership, administration and management, deforestation, impact of deforestation, and remedies for the forest conservation.